Before we get started, if you're interested in getting a 2.5-hour free wedding photography course and also a new free preset pack, there is a link down below.
The 85mm lens is one of my favorite lenses for wedding photography. I actually can't remember a single wedding where I didn't have an 85mm prime in my bag. With this new Sony 85mm f1.4 GM2 release from Sony, I figured I would go over a few of the reasons that I really enjoy the 85mm focal length and why I consider it to be a primary lens for my work. First up, I have 7 reasons why the 85mm lens is great for weddings. Number 1, it is a great focal length for portraits. The 85mm lens is often considered to be the perfect portrait photography lens. It allows for flattering perspectives, reducing facial distortion, and creating a pleasing compression of features. Number 2, bokeh and subject isolation. Good 85mm lenses typically have wide apertures like f1.2 or 1.8, enabling the ability to achieve really shallow depth of field. This creates a beautiful bokeh, isolating the subject from the background and drawing attention to the couple or the person that you're photographing. Number 3, low light performance. Weddings often take place in really low light environments such as dimly lit churches or reception halls, sometimes even a candlelit ceremony. An 85mm lens with a wide aperture can perform well in all of these conditions, allowing for faster shutter speeds and lower ISO settings, resulting in sharper images with less noise. Number 4, versatility in shots. The 85mm lens is great for close-up portraits to medium and even long shots, making it suitable for capturing candid moments, emotions, and details without needing to switch lenses frequently. Number 5, compression. 85mm lenses create a pleasing compression effect that makes backgrounds appear a little bit closer and more pronounced, adding a sense of depth and enhancing the overall aesthetic of the image. Number 6, comfortable working distance. The 85mm lens allows photographers to maintain a comfortable working distance from their subjects. This is important during wedding to avoid intruding in personal space and moments while still capturing great, candid, and authentic expressions. Number 7, professional look. This combines everything I've just talked about. The combination of also sharpness and bokeh and perspective provided by the high quality 85mm lenses often results just in really professional looking images that kind of makes wedding photography on easy mode a little bit as long as you can find some good lighting. An 85mm lens is a bit of a cheat code, I would say. Now, another thing that's really important to me is the size and the weight. Well, I do have one big lens in my bag, the Tamron 35 to 150. I don't want to carry more heavy lenses if they could be made in a smaller way. I am happy to pay additional for the premium of making a good quality lens a little bit smaller. I think this is where the new Sony 85mm f1.4 GM2 comes into a really sweet spot, that it is a good blend of quality, size, weight, and price. Should you immediately go out and buy the 85mm f1.4 GM2 or a 1.2 because I say that I like it? No, I don't think you should. So depending on how your wedding kit is coming together, it might make a lot more sense to stick with something like this f1.8 for a little while longer. Well, yes, a 1.4 is going to give you creamier out of focus background and some optical performance upgrades. An end couple or client really isn't going to see a whole lot of that difference. And I think it's important to manage this internally. There are times when the latest and greatest really is leaps ahead of the other available product, but in lens design now, the world won't end because you're shooting a lens that came out 4 years ago. In fact, still to this day, my favorite 85mm lens ever made is a Nikon 85mm f1.4G for DSLR. I feel like this lens gets ranked first for me because of its size, it's very lightweight, and there are non-perfect characteristics to it as well. I love that brands like Nikon with the 85mm f1.2 are chasing complete optical perfection. I can only imagine how exciting it is for the engineering teams to get to work on a project like that when you're given the ability to make something truly extraordinary and you don't have to worry too much about what that end price point is going to be and that it's going to be unattainable by most. But for me, in my day-to-day work as a photographer, I'm gonna pick something smaller and less expensive, even if it's 80% as good. Not to say that I'm sacrificing quality of my work for my clients because I don't bring a big, expensive, heavy lens with me, but more to say that I make better work with the gear that I prefer to use. Small lenses help me blend in a little bit more, and the less people that are hyper aware of me, the better. Smaller gear also allows me to move a little bit faster. One of the big reasons that I love mirrorless cameras in general is because I can now shoot from the screen. It's weird, but I shoot most of my weddings from the LCD flip out screen now. It allows me to shoot without directly looking at my subjects in candid environments, which attracts less attention. And then if I'm communicating with couples, it allows me to continue to talk to them while we're taking pictures. The first point about attracting less attention is actually pretty important for me. Maybe to preface this, I'm a very strong introvert. When I was shooting DSLR and I was looking down the lens at people through the lens. If they made eye contact with that lens, I would freeze for a bit. It was a bit startling. And then often I would physically have to walk away from that area and stop taking pictures in that location. But with mirrorless, there is less of that direct eye contact. And even if someone does happen to notice me pointing a camera at them, the eye contact feels a lot less personal. And to bring this back to the 85mm lens, I feel like it also gives a nice mental distance as well. I don't have to be in anyone's space and I can make really nice images of them looking their best. Now, going back to my first weddings, I always had a 35mm or 85mm prime combo, or at least the full frame equivalents. I was already full-time in this wedding photography thing before Nikon made full frame DSLRs. After that, I was on the 35-85 prime combo for hundreds of weddings, and still to this day, I would try to bring out a 50 or a 24 every now and then, but it really just never felt right. There was a time that I was using the Nikon 58mm f1.4 often as well, but with the 58, I felt that you for sure had to bring a 7200 or something long for ceremonies, whereas an 85 could probably get you by in most ceremonies. Now, I know a good number of photographers that the longest lens in their bag is the 85mm lens, especially with higher megapixel cameras. It's easy to crop and post, or even go into crop mode in your camera if needed and get a little bit of extra reach. I always have a quick button set up to go into crop mode on my cameras. Overall, I personally consider the 85mm lens to be a lens that I need in my bag for every wedding, for low light reception coverage, for portraits, for candids, and everything in between. I am very happy with it.
So the 85mm lens, a lens that will remain in my bag for a long, long time. If you're interested in getting that 2.5 hour free wedding photography course and free preset pack, there's a link down below.